Hey there, and welcome back to another video. So, this is gonna be a short tutorial on the mountain storm animation I made on Procreate. And I know, it's been long overdue, so let's just dive into it. But firstly, I need to make it clear that I am no animator, just a physics undergrad who's been long interested in the art of animating, so basically this tutorial is by an absolute amateur. Anyways, let's start off now. I'm going to break off the animation into parts, in each of which we focus on animating a single layer. I should mention here that the number of layers available to you on Procreate is quite limited, so you'll have to use multiple canvases to do a 38-second clip like this. And you should preserve all the layers in your original drawing, so you can just duplicate the canvas as needed and animate each small bit out. You can see that I have quite a few layers here: the sky, the clouds, distant mountains, the lights done separately, and turning those layers on and off is rather cool, I think. So let's start with the foremost layer. The leafy branches and grasses in the foreground, swaying in the wind, the easiest bit of animation over here. All I did was basically use the liquify tool, vary the size as required, and push the leaves and branches aside in each frame. Keep in mind that the free end of the branches and leaves will move further away, and the movement decreases as you move in more towards the trunk or the closed end. You can repeat this process frame after frame to get a sort of oscillatory motion, and with enough frames done in this manner, you can simply copy and paste this layer in the further frames. As for the leaves falling off in the wind, I either made a leaf fly right off from one end of the screen to the other, or move back and forth while falling straight down. Note that in the second case, the arcs get smaller and smaller as the leaf gets closer to the ground, and also at each turn, the leaf will curl upwards a bit before changing its curve path. Now, as for the speed of the leaf, we are going to use two of the 12 principles of animation, namely squash and stretch, and slow in and slow out. The leaf comes in slow, so the spacing between the leaf in two successive frames will be small at first, then it will increase gradually, during which time it also gets stretched, and then the leaf will slow down, so the spacing decreases again and the leaf gets squashed. You can see that in the demonstration over here. Now once the leaf reaches there, before falling back, it turns up a wee bit, so I'm just gonna do that over here. So now you can just notice the leaf in each frame, and let me play it once for you. There you go. So in the time lapse, you can see how I went about with this. Yes, it really gets tedious doing multiple of these leaves in a single layer, but try it one leaf at a time and be patient with it. You'll get it done soon. Now let's move straight up from the foreground to the clouds in the background. So when it comes to the clouds, it's mostly simple. Just select the layer, and in each frame, just move it slightly to the left. If the environment you're working on doesn't involve a windy atmosphere, shift the clouds infinitesimally, and otherwise in a stormy atmosphere like mine, I can be a bit more lenient with each shift. Apart from this, I also need to make the sky more cloudy with each passing instant. I simply paint in more clouds coming in from the right, add in more to the clouds already present, and keep smudging them. And as the clouds cover the moon, keep in mind that the bits of the clouds overshadowing the moon should appear whiter than the other parts. And yes, now for the lightning. So first create a new layer between the clouds and the background layers and paint in small branches in white. In the next frame, extend these branches, increase the branching, erase off the tops which would appear in the previous frame, and throw in shades of purple as well. Add yet more branching in the next frame, and in the frame following that, add one strand of lightning in red towards the right. Run a thinner white line along it centrally. Increase the brightness of the background layer after clicking on the editing tools and then hue saturation brightness. And in the next frame, do a thicker version of this single strand of lightning in white more to the center of the canvas. Adjust the brightness and saturation of different layers until you get your desired effect. Repeat this process for different layers and here you can see the effect that can be created by combination of what we have discussed so far. Well, okay, we have left out the street lamp. There isn't really much to do in this one. I'll just quickly reduce the brightness of the background layers so that the lighting is more visible. Okay, here we are. For quick flickers, you just alternate between keeping the lamplight layer on and off in each successive layer. For a slow flicker, where the light isn't going completely off, reduce the opacity of this layer from 100 to say 70ish and then to 25, then increase it to somewhere in the 40s and then in between 80 to 90 before moving down again. Don't go up to 100. And repeat this process a few times. You're good to go. Okay, so now we get to the raindrops. Well, I definitely don't think my technique may be the best when it comes to this, but it's certainly very organic and quite a bit interesting, if I may say so. I'm an amateur, as I've already said, so I've got a lot to learn yet. If you have a better, more efficient technique, let me know in the comments. I'll be grateful to you. Leave a tip for others interested as well. I believe what I'm doing isn't so clear from the time lapse, so let me make it clearer for you. Basically, I'm drawing in straight lines, copying this layer over to each frame. I'll just do that, and once that's done, I come back to the first frame. I erase off most of the line except for the bit indicating the rain coming in through the left edge. I move on to the next frame. The raindrop has traveled down by quite a bit, so I go ahead and erase the parts near the start and the end. I'm keeping the falling drop quite elongated. Well, you'll see why just in a while, as I'll come back to each frame. Anyways, so just keep doing this until the raindrop is about to hit the ground. Then you just do in these small droplets coming off the ground to make this kind of a splattering effect, and smudge this to make it a bit fuzzy. I guess I'm quite satisfied with this. Yeah, as I was saying, let's go back to the previous frame. Now take the eraser, set its opacity a bit below 50% and erase off the higher end in repeated full strokes, each stroke starting a bit higher than the last. As you can see, now it looks much better. I'll just repeat this process for each of the previous frames. And I guess that just looks fine. Do that for a lot of raindrops and voila, there you are. Quite a rainstorm you have right here. Now a bit of secondary animation, which is like the cherry on the icing of a cake. Not really that necessary, but certainly adds a lot more to it. Here I did a cyclist. You can do whatever else suits your environment. I did a rough sketch at first with the cyclist appearing at the bend. Add the headlight, paint in the water splattering off the ground, and other details which allow for you to create the effect of rotating wheels. Draw the cyclist's legs moving in the motion of pedaling in each frame. I copy and pasted the layer after drawing it once and used transform tools to get the desired effects, such as distorting the front wheel a bit to make it look as though the person is taking a slight curve, and then follow suit with the rest of the cycle and its rider. Here's how it looks once it's done. And once the cyclist moves out of the way, I turn the lights on, and you can see how that lights up the entrance and the steps of the dainty cottage and brightens up the lane, lifting the mood of this entire artwork. If you want to know how to paint a lighting of this sort in Procreate, check out part 1 of the tutorial. Links in the description. And this is it, folks. Just add in some sound effects and it's all done. Here's the final work once again. I certainly hope you found this video useful. If you did, do let me know by pressing the like button so that it's a blue overlay, and for more videos, subscribe to my channel. Leave the bell on for notifications. Check out my other videos. The content on my channel is quite vast and it will continue to be so in the future, so there just might be something that you are looking for or are interested in that you may happen to find on my channel. Leave your suggestions for me if any, and I'll go through them while reading the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day. Bye, and I'll see you around in my next video.